Babe Laufenberg, Cowboys color analyst, joining us here as he does every Thursday, brought to you by Johnson Fitness and Wellness Home Fitness Equipment Stores. Good morning, Babe. Make us feel better, please.
Good morning. And we started with a trivia question, but we have so much to hit. I'm going to make this one pretty easy.
No. I want a hard one.
Which NFL team in Texas will be playing this weekend?
Oh. Not for long.
Is it Bob Stoops' team with this XFL
banner?
banner?
I believe it's this weekend.
The armpit, baby. CJ.
All right, you got it, so we can talk about other things.
Yes, I like it. You have the floor.
Oh, gosh.
Well, actually, let me start with this.
Yeah, please.
This time last week, you said, and I get it, all this McCarthy talk is ridiculous. It's insane. What were you thinking after the Packers game ended?
Oh, I didn't wait till after it ended. In the middle of the second quarter, we were on break, and I said, Brad, who do you think will be the next head coach here? No, I'm kidding. Well, when I said it was insane, and I truly believed it, that it was crazy talk. You win 12 games 3 consecutive years, and you're talking about replacing the coach, and you make the playoffs in each of those 3 years. But nobody told me 27-0 in the middle of the second quarter was going to happen.
Yeah.
But I'm honestly, I thought he would be back even after that. And I am in favor. I really am. I'm in favor of bringing him back, and I've said it. I've done naturally other shows this week, not locally, just so our bosses know. But I said, I'd bring him back, and we'll see what happens. And I do laugh, guys, and you know this. Everybody, I'm out on the Cowboys. I will never support them. I can never root for them. I will never watch another game. Yeah. Training camp, everybody will be asking me, hey, who do you think is going to be the fifth receiver?
Right. Yes.
But I understand. I understand the emotion after watching what they did on Sunday.
So why were you in favor of him returning no matter what?
Well, just where are you going to go? What are you going to do? And again, he and Dak, we talked about this last week. I said there are 2 guys in the media guide. There's only 2 people in the media guide who have their records attached to their name. And it's the quarterback and the head coach. And so I think these 2, Dak and McCarthy, you keep them together again. Remember, this was Dak's first year in McCarthy's offense, even though we all know it was similar in this and that and terminology. But, I think you give it another go. Again, it's a 12-win team that destroyed a bunch of teams as the season went on. And I know you can look at, hey, there were bad teams, this, that. I'll give you a quick little stat here. There have been 4 teams in the Super Bowl era. 4 teams have had 8 or more 20-point victories during the season, right? So the Cowboys had 9 games this year. They won by 20. There's only been 4 other teams. 3 other teams. They became one of 4. The other 3 teams all went to the Super Bowl. 2 of them won it, and the one that didn't was the New England Patriots in 2007 when they were undefeated up until the final game against the Giants. So while you say, well, they beat a bunch of bad teams and this and that, the other teams that were in that category all went to the Super Bowl. Obviously, this one is not going.
Right. Now, Dak Prescott and this whole playoff label now. Yesterday was an advocate of giving him his extension, giving him his raise. Many others disagree with me. What do you say to the label of Dak playoff choker or guy who can't get it done?
Well, I don't want to say the evidence is mounting, but that was not a good one, obviously, for Dak on Sunday. For anyone that is of that mindset, that certainly backed them up. I'm not really a believer that all of a sudden the playoff comes and now you lose your mind. But it's just essentially, everything collapsed. That was the beauty of that game. There will be no finger pointing because who's going to point the finger at who? The D-line did not get a sack. The back end of the secondary was terrible. They couldn't stop Green Bay running the ball. They didn't run the ball well. So who's going to point the finger at that game, right? I mean, many times you get that and you say, shoot, if the defense had just got to stop, or if this, everybody was bad. And hey, I'm usually not one to say, oh, they were outcoached, because everybody comes in with a game plan. But the offensive coordinator got outcoached and the defensive coordinator got outcoached in that one. I mean, that was pretty evident. The other part, I think, we talk about the defense, Dan Quinn. It's a defense that is built to play from ahead, right? Get the other team behind. Here come our pass rushers. We're going to come get you. We got guys that intercepted on the back end. And I thought it was instructive that Matt LaFleur, Green Bay won the toss, and they didn't go in for the double dip. Hey, we'll score before the half, and then we'll come out in the third, and we'll give them the ball to start the game. They said, no, we want the ball. And obviously they went on an 8-minute drive for a touchdown, and Cowboys were behind. Now, not to say anybody panicked at 7-0, but I thought that was instructive that you're on the road, crowd's going to be going crazy, and you say we want the ball. To me, that said a little bit of something about how Matt LaFleur looked at this Cowboys team.
Well, babe, game plan-wise, real quick, Chop, did it seem bizarre to you, forget about the performances and the players, Mike running so much and the whole second down analytic stats that are out there when Dak got them here offensively and Green Bay's pass defense was supposedly woeful, and then Dan Quinn backing off in the zone or off the line of scrimmage? Were these bizarre game plans to you?
Well, you go into a game, and obviously each game is different. So I'm sure when they sat down during the week, they looked at it a lot more than I did. Let me just say that. And they felt like, hey, this is the way we're going to go about it. And obviously it didn't work. You could go down the rabbit hole on a million things, individual plays of why things didn't work, both sides of the ball. But the funny thing was they gave up so many big plays in the pass game. I mean, they had 6 20-plus pass plays. All those came in the first 3 quarters because they didn't need to do anything in the fourth quarter, obviously. So you say, well, we gave up the pass, but we stopped the run. And no, they got bludgeoned in the running game, and they gave up big plays in the pass game. And hey, credit Jordan Love. I mean, he played great. Made a lot of plays. Made the kind of plays you were hoping Dak was going to make. Now, I will say he did not have the open receivers that Green Bay had, but I thought he was fantastic. Matter of fact, Mark Murphy is the Packers president, who I played with in Washington. We've been friends through the years, and I texted him after the game, and I said, well, Murph, it's nice to know you guys finally found a quarterback there in Green Bay. How about that team? I mean, they're going to have, if Jordan Love may not be a Hall of Famer, I don't know, but you're going to have 3 quarterbacks that are going to take your franchise for about 40 years. If he goes another 10 years, It's incredible. They are to quarterbacks what the Steelers are to head coaches.
Yeah, they really are. Babe Laufenberg, Jonas here, 105 through the Fan. Is Jerry scared of taking the risk of not bringing back Dak? Like KC did this. Now he's better than Alex Smith, but the Ravens did this with Flacco. They moved on. San Francisco did this with Jimmy. They moved on. Is he too chicken, I guess you say, to take the risk of maybe taking a step back and failing, but ultimately to get the better quarterback?
Well, I mean, it's a good question.
They're all good.
I mean, I think if Dak were out there on the open market, you'd see 20 to 22 teams, 24 teams clamoring for his services. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
I mean, is Kansas City going to go swing a deal for him? No. There's a few teams like that, but there aren't a ton. So I remember I did an interview with Sally Jenkins from the Washington Post when Kirk Cousins was in the second year of his franchise tag up there in Washington. And I said, you can go a long time looking for a guy as good as Kirk Cousins. So he's not your top 3 quarterback, but you can go a long time trying to find that guy. And look what Washington has done. Now, they've been looking for the guy since Kirk Cousins left. Wouldn't Washington have loved to have had Kirk Cousins over the last 6 years? I mean, yes. But and I don't know where you put Dak in with Kirk Cousins, and I'm not trying to make that comparison, but my point being, you can go a long time looking for another Dak. Look at the Jets, right? I mean, you can go on and on with that. Sam Darnold came through, the 3rd pick in the draft. Zach Wilson, 2nd pick in the draft. They're still looking for a guy. So again, I'm content to have Dak as my quarterback. Now, very quickly, as you know, the money, $60 million on the cap hit next year. I don't know what they're going to do, but that's up for Stephen Jones to figure out.
Well, you said something earlier of like, where are they going to go for a coach? You know, a lot of people would say this is the greatest coaching free agent class out there with Belichick and Harbaugh and Vrabel and Carroll and whatever other names. So why not one of them?
Well, Belichick, in my mind, wouldn't work here. I mean, the relationship wouldn't work. I think if Belichick were to be interviewed here, which obviously he wasn't, and he'd be interviewing the Cowboys.
Yeah.
The Cowboys wouldn't be interviewing him.
Right.
He'd be seeing if it works for Bill Belichick, if he can deal with the structure here, as opposed to Cowboys interviewing Belichick saying, hey, what's your plan here? And Vrabel, I love him, right? Look at his winning percentage. I mean, he's barely won half his games.
With Ryan Tannehill.
Well, he's the coach, isn't he? I mean, go out and get yourself a quarterback.
Well, he's the coach, not the GM, isn't he?
Well, that's why I go back to, again, hire your coach and have your coach hire your GM. That's the way San Francisco did it. And I'm a firm believer that the coach, A, knows more football, and B, he knows what he's looking for. You don't have a GM that says, hey, here's your guys, make them work. No, the coach says, here's the guy I want. And again, look what they've done in San Francisco. And it's been a great marriage between Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch. And Shanahan picked Lynch. Lynch didn't pick Shanahan.
Right. Thank you, brother. We appreciate it. It's chaos today. Thanks for checking in.
It is. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Have a great day.
You too.